This is where we find out brother will deliver you up to brother to death, and father his son. The sons will rise up against their fathers.
October 26, 2021. Today's October 28, 2021. The only thing that makes me feel better with the information that I hear is just by knowing the truth of it. Because a lot of things that you hear, it's pretty sobering.
And lead them unto death. They're leading them. Even in the Hebrew, they lead them into death.
So imagine that your own son turning against you, leading you to death, because you were told something about yourself, and whatever it was appealing. And also at the same time, people have different viewpoints, so they can be turning them in, because it gets to a point where everything is going to be just grinded down to either this or that. You're either with one or the other. Brothers turning against brothers. I look at that as, on YouTube, people that are communicating back and forth with each other as a brother, whether it's from the beginning of your career or up until now, whether it's the people you talked to before or the people you're talking to now. And it has to happen.
And the Greek caused them to be killed. And it looks like that's the hour we're living in right now. And how many times have I already told you that this whole mandate agenda that they're forcing on the population of the whole globe was actually began as an alien agenda.
The Lord told me I would name the ministry that He gave me. He told me when I started the radio,
The legend,
He put me in,
Key of the Map.
that's what I would name the program. And He told me the reason why. He said that
It's a radio
I'd
program.
lay hands on the sick and they would recover. People would call and give their lives to Him. And He said, I'll bless your ministry.
So is this really taking place? Is this Jonathan Kleck actually laying hands on people in a way that can get your attention and start to look over in this direction at whoever they have in mind? Is that actually happening?
And since I took the step of faith to do what He said, He's done all those things. All right.
Because it sounds like if you take the step of faith, your my ministry would take off more than what it is right now. Because right now it's not going anywhere. It's just here. This moment, it's like I'm here. But the ministry being something, well, it's already getting out there to people. It doesn't pay anything. Yeah, it would be nice to be paid for doing this work. If people appreciate it, then eventually that's probably how that works. But you gotta know somebody, you gotta know people, you gotta, or you just get lucky and they'll watch a video of yours over and over and over again and you get some monetized money. But I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what it feels like to have a channel where there's just a constant income and that's all you do. That's your career. You mean you get to do what you want to do and then also do what you want to do because you have money to do things. Not that it's not about being rich. I'm going to try to make some successful decisions, but it ain't about being rich. It's just about living your life. But how do you live your life? It always seems like you have to do something. You have to work in order to do it. So you're always doing something besides resting and what you actually want to do, which is live your life. That's been my goal, is to live my life as much as I can without having to go do something. That's why I cut down my work days to 3 days a week. I can still pay my bills. Now, I could have saved up a couple $1,000s over the past few months if I worked Monday and Tuesday along with the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I enjoy doing this right here, right what I'm doing right now. And it's not something that is a waste of time. I was never looking to get paid for it. I happen to have a Walmart video, got a couple million views, and it still gets a good amount of views. And that was monetized for, I think, a year and a half. It was about $250 a month. And it was just a nice little thing to have. Maybe I can remonetize it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. I don't even know why they cut me off for it. But if I had to do this the same way from here on out, where I don't have that much to pay my bills, I would still do it. Just as long as I can pay my bills and but the bills are, it's like, what kind of bills do you create? I have a phone bill, the gas, the electric, the rent, the car payment, and insurance, and that's it. They're basic bills. Your truck, you got to pay for that. Your insurance, you got to pay for that. Wherever you live, you got to pay the rent or the mortgage. You always have electric to pay for it, and you always got water. And if you want some entertainment, you need cable too. You want a cell phone. You don't really need any of it besides water and food. But what kind of food do you need in order to survive? You need water, but how much do you actually need? All these things that are taking place now where I'm at, it gets more, like, as I'm saying this right now, I feel like I already explained this. Because this is the part where I start to tell you that for the future of this channel, with whatever is going on, it's not going to look good for me. Nothing's going to look good for me. Because by design, it's supposed to look that way. I don't know fully why it has to be like that, but I have ideas. And obviously, because since I started YouTube 4.5 years ago, and I had friends come against me, just turn their back, just make up excuses as to why they're doing whatever, and you guys know you're guilty of it. And I didn't know I was stepping into this end time prophecy movie, Truman Show. I had no idea I was stepping into a real live Truman Show. But you would say, like, well, you're not Truman, so what? It doesn't matter. It's just a show. I know. It's just a show. But I experienced the same things in the Truman Show with Jim Carrey. Because you're just born into this, whatever the hell it is, and everybody knows what they're doing and you don't. And then you wake up to the reality that, why are they acting, why do they keep opening up the door? What's the point of, like, that was such unusual behavior. You would always question, like, it doesn't even make sense why people act like this. Then you find out what it is. You're being surveilled the entire time. So I'm being surveilled, watched. Like, if it's my entire life, everything I've ever done was seen, by God. Because God is the one that has eyes. He can see all over the place, all-seeing eye. And God can also see what you're doing in your spirit. everybody that does whatever it is that they do. God the Spirit and God who runs the system. So they see what all of us do. And I guess until you wake up to the reality of, well, that is the way it is. So whatever you do, you're being watched. You're being heard nonstop 24/7 your entire life. So what you thought you did in secret, it wasn't in secret. So those are the things that'll be exposed with people. And because of where I'm stepping into, I've already been through this on a lower level with playing the Judas role and the Jesus role. And even though I know nobody believes that, and that's what people need to understand, nobody actually believes that, but they put me in the Jesus role with Derek from Aglapa Truth, because the whole entire story reminded him of that. So it's already happened, and to those that were involved, I'm talking to you. You know I didn't know what the hell's going on, right? You know that. You surveil me. There's people behind the scenes that are eunuchs. And that's what it means to build the wall. What Trump's talking about, building the wall. In my view, build the wall. That way, you, as a man, well, when your clothes are off, I guess you would just look like an angel. Maybe that's what part of the reason why that was done is because you look like an angel. Or a woman. The host body system. It happens. But when you still experience the same pleasure, but it's inside hidden secret, and you're surveilling and watching and looking and laughing at people that are still playing with themselves, then, or their sexual perversions, what goes on is inside of you, you can almost seem like you're blameless because that's what it is. That's the appeal. And I don't have any evidence to anything I'm saying. It's just my thoughts. I'm thinking out loud about the things I've learned, knowing that I'm talking to certain people that are on this platform, and then realize more and 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 more how many people actually do pay attention, and then why. And I've talked like this for a while now. That's why do you think I would show you so many overwhelming circumstantial evidence that these guys are talking directly to me? Now, it just doesn't. Well, why? If everybody was acting like nobody's paying attention, why is it that everybody's acting like they are? Why is everybody acting, playing the... Just understand that this is an act all the way to the very end. All I'm trying to do is find my spot, play my role, and know what the role is before it happens. And whichever spot I can put myself in, I'm seeing, okay, well, maybe I'm heading in that direction. Oh, yeah, they played the Jesus role last time. I get it. Man, only if I knew I would have played the role better. So now I know. So I'll play a role better. What comes around goes around. There's the first time that happens to you, then there's the second time. You fooled me once, you can't get fooled again. But that's why this time, Robin, you're dead. You're dead meat. And you know it. Oh, man. I know. That's true. It really is true. There are still people that are still battling their demons, because when they listen to me, the demonic irritation just comes out of you like that, right? But you gotta understand this. When you learn how to control your anger with whatever it is, no matter what it is, you start controlling your own spirit, which relieves that pressure of just someone putting their shoulders on you, and you can just breathe and be yourself. And you let go of the anger and you start listening. Because I've listened to so many people that made me sick to death. Because when I was learning about how to pull knives out of my back, I realized this really hurts. These people were my friends. Like I've done video. I stuck up for you. I've raised your channel up. I've did whatever I could for free because I thought we were friends. And then friends, and then they turn and then they start talking about things, and then they're lying. Oh my God, Steve is the biggest liar on the planet. It's bold face. I didn't know how much of an actor you were, Steve, so I got mad. I got mad when all of you turned on me because you all act like you didn't know anybody. Steve is so poor suffering servant. Leave him alone. He's nobody. But he wrote the book Gematria, according to him, and all of Hollywood goes by Gematria. So what do you mean he's nobody? He wrote the book. He's claiming he wrote the book. His name is plastered throughout the entire book. And he's making videos about me, acting like he's a poor suffering servant. He has, like, no money? Nah, that's not true. It's not true. It ain't true. So I keep digging and searching, digging, proving. Nah, it's not true. And you guys come against me. And you hire more people to come against. And then you got all these people. Like, God, demons all over. Because I stepped into your world. I get it. I understand. But I didn't at the time. I understand now. I didn't at the time. The more I understand, the less I can possibly be angry, have any attached feelings to anything. I know it's a script. I know we're in a script where this is being played out. I am on YouTube. My name's Robin Henry Tees. I am living in it's called an end times Bible prophecy, apocalyptic, zombie horror movie that is getting to the climax of the end. We're at that point. But for others, they feel like, no, we're halfway in between of that part. The next 3.5 years is the Antichrist. And then we're going to have a tough time on earth. I already experience the Antichrist the past 4.5 years, at least 3.5, just about. I'd say, you know what, give me a year on YouTube. See what happens. Give this kid a year. The people that run the planet, the people that control YouTube, they're probably like, they've seen some videos, like the Walmart video that happened in November 2017, up to almost 3 million views now. And for me, that's quite an accomplishment because I'm nobody. I didn't know how to do that. And I actually got paid for some of it. So that was pretty cool. I generated that on my own just for being a goofball, spotting security guards. That people were like on it. So many comments with all those views, and I'm the one that's paranoid. But yet the ones that send them in my direction knew that I was not paranoid. And that's how I got your attention. Is that not true? Is that not how I got most of your attention? Is because they send this video like, yeah, this dude knows that everybody he pointed out was us. How did he see that? I don't know. But damn, is he good. And then others, no, you're not. Loser, paranoid, drug addict, get off the meth. Demons, angels, angels. Entertaining angels. I wasn't aware, but now I'm aware. Entertaining angels, quite aware. I am quite aware that this is entertainment for the angels. Of course it's going to be the scariest damn movie ever towards the end. Why would it not be? Why would I not expect that? What was so scary about the Truman Show? Well, I don't know, he got on a boat by himself. At one point, they couldn't find him. That doesn't even make sense. How can't the gang stalkers find somebody? But he got away. I mean, that might represent the time where you actually do disappear from the sight of those that are looking for you, and you're able to get somewhere in order to have another opinion, another offer, another, like, what's beyond the world. And when Truman went out of the world, did he literally leave the world, like planet Earth, and go to heaven? Because Jesus did the same thing, but did he really go to heaven? Does he live in heaven? Or is it just a spiritual thing? Or is it all above? Or is it yes, yes, and yes? Jesus goes to heaven. Jesus lives in heaven. The heaven is the kingdom within. But when you go to heaven, you come back. But the Truman Show, it looked like he left and he never came back. So that's part of that movie where it makes you think, well, I mean, it doesn't make you think anything. You think what you want. I look at all sides of it. Obviously, the world is this. It's the lure of you can have everything in this planet, and it's a way of tempting you to do so. But what do you really want? Well, you want to live in heaven. I'm already there. I just need heaven to come down here where I live. I'm not concerned about whatever is going on. Where I live now, I need what's up there to come down here and plant your feet here and take care of what's going on here. And that's scripture too. That's what will happen. But how does it happen and how long until it happens? It's never happened before in the history of existence, apparently. The Ancient of Days, the one who is the oldest, would be here. And this is a thing that happens over and over and over again. But that would have to mean the Ancient of Days is someone that actually has lived like 1,000 years, 10,000. Did you ever die? Sounds all crazy, doesn't it? Sounds all crazy. Like I'm just talking to myself. So I asked Eric Bros, is it okay that I tell people that I talked to you on the phone? Because if not, I wouldn't have said anything. And it's not like I'm lying about anything. I just wouldn't volunteer that information if somebody, it's like a privacy agreement. It's out of respect is what it is. So I wouldn't have said anything if he didn't say to me, yeah, it's fine. So with Click, I've battled between who actually runs what. I know you's run something. I've known that. And by having a clarification that, yeah, okay, that feels good because it's recognition that I'm not just speaking into thin air. People in highest positions are openly saying that they pay attention, they appreciate my work, and I appreciate their work. And that's what this is about. It ain't about you're better than me, I'm better than you. It's just recognition and then for what you've done and giving thanks for what you've learned from others and just trying to figure out my place, but not be deceived at my place, because I still have to go through this with discernment is nonstop trying to discern. That's what I think about all day long, discerning. That's why I pay attention to so much information, because I'm not worried about being deceived. I want to make sure that I'm not doing the wrong thing, going in the wrong direction, that God isn't saying that's the greatest place to go. Because before I hopped on YouTube, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know Derek Bros. I didn't know Jonathan Click. I didn't know that Derek was a writer for Hollywood and made movies and directed things and was Gooding Jr.'s personal manager. I didn't know that, but I didn't come to YouTube to know that. I was looking for who's running the planet. Not that I thought that I would ever get through to the people that do, or at least I think so. And I know nothing's ever agreed. I mean, nothing's ever flat out said, and it's not supposed to be, because it's all about perception. What do you perceive as true or not? Who's running what? So I never thought that whatever I'm saying is actually going to get to somebody. That wasn't my intention. Initially, my intention was to get this disgust out of my spirit. My spirit is so bothered, I can't, like, it's so sickening. I kept getting interrupted with this stuff that I knew was set up, and it wasn't like authentic. It was something made up. And then I'm seeing these shootings on TV, and the actors, the people on the people that were interviewing, they started to look like they were reading a script, and I'm thinking, why are you reading a script? If something just happened to you, what is a script doing in your face? And then you can't prove that, but you know that they are because of how they talk and what they're saying and how they're looking over and reading like that. Oh man, that burned me up. So whoever's responsible for that, yeah, I can understand where you deserve credit where credit is due. With what you created, stirred this up out of me. Yes, that's true. But God also knew that was going to happen too, and that's what's happening. Well, who wrote the Bible? Because can you imagine that it really was just the people running the planet wrote the Bible, and it really wasn't what it was thought to be? Men inspired by God writing the Bible? What they are inspired by God writing the Bible. How do you not know that the Bible is being written now? It's being fulfilled more and more and more because everything gets revealed in the end. So therefore, the ones that wrote it, which is true, the Bible it's written by men regardless. Who runs the planet? Well, it's always been the top elite. So, but it's like you think, no, it was just these poor little apostles. They pitched in and they got it printed up and they held it and they kept it away from the elite. Aren't the elite the ones that wrote the Bible? Like, aren't they the ones that experienced? Weren't they the ones? Or were they all just poor and suffering servants like SJD over there in Michigan? So everybody's playing the role. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where my role is. I'm the one waking up to this. It's a reality. And it reminds me of the Truman Show with Christophilus up in the moon, right? Watching his every move. And I just wonder, like, wow, is that really true? So the moon actually is an object. I thought that maybe the moon is an object, and that sometimes they just replace it with the light in the sky. But why wouldn't it be something flying around or floating around or drop down on a drop moon or something? You drop it down and you just like they do at skiing. They have the slope things, and it just goes around the track. And people are up there, like Lucifer would be up in the moon because the moon, that's what it represents. Lucifer would be up in the moon. But he's surveilling Truman, and then he finally starts to see, like he starts to wake up to the reality that there's these people are actually hired to do this, and are all over. They're everywhere. So that's what this reminds me of. Which means it kind of is true. It's a reality live, but it's also the end of the world, and it's also a horror movie, but it's also a comedy. It's everything, is what it is. It just hasn't been fully produced all the way yet because we're not at the very end yet. So when I was talking to Derek, when I was talking to you on the phone, it's like I'm listening to everything you're saying, and it sounds like just you because you're always in my ear anyway. All information is there. The only difference is I'm interrupting you. That's all I'm doing. So I felt like that. I'm just listening. I'm hearing. At the same time, I have to interpret what you're saying. Like I have to listen to what you're saying. I have to interpret what you're saying. I have to understand the other meaning of what you're saying. At the same time, just like knowing what I'm going to talk about next, because something's always on my mind that relates to what you're saying. And then for that half hour, it was information, hearing it, trying to digest it, and trying to remember it. The difference between talking in person or through the video is the video, if I didn't hear something, I can be like
Right,
this.
so here we go. We're going to go into the wee hours of the morning with this one, but that's all right. I'm going to eat a Scooby snack. All right, I already ate.
So I can be like, oh, wait, what did you say?
The step of faith to do what he said. He's done.
And that's what the difference is, where I can't go back to record because I don't have it recorded. Not that I was looking for it to be recorded, but there's no video. So I got to remember what is being said and be honored at the same time, because if you're known to be someone that was writing Hollywood movies, you don't even have to say anything about anything when it comes to the movie that's being written right now. So I battled with who has the upper hand with everything. Who has the, who just, it's like who is the one? Because when you pick the other one, that's the way it's going to be with everybody. You may pick the wrong person this time around, and I may pick the wrong person this time around, or I may not pick a person this time around. I may just stay where I'm at, but because everything is testing, what it does with the communication, and Derek knows just by the simple fact of donating a couple times to my channel when I brought that up in order to help somebody else. Derek knows the energy that it does, where it goes. He knows that for me, what it does for me. And to now finally talk to Derek on the phone, it is a confirmation to me and anybody else that is part of it. What it means is there was nothing wasted. I got the attention of people, and it helps to know that it's just a confirmation of others that are involved. But when that takes place, obviously the spotlight goes brighter and brighter, and then you have exactly what
rise up against their fathers and lead them unto death. This is where we find out brother will deliver you up to brother to death.
So what happens when you're playing the role the second time around? They're going to do the same thing. They're going to play the same thing. And then they're going to try to trap you. But see, last time around, I was only a year into YouTube and about a year and a half into the Bible. Maybe 2 years into the Bible. Because I started to write some passages about stuff back in October 2016. I sent that 6-page letter to my neighbors, and or was it 7? I think it was 6. Yeah, and then one more later on, just warning them about what I'm seeing coming. Something's coming, everybody. I don't know how I feel it. I gotta let you know. I gotta warn you about what I see coming, because it's not going to be something that's just never going to happen. It'll happen, but I've seen it coming beforehand. But what's coming? Well, destruction for everything, everybody. This system's being destroyed inside out. Everything's going to turn and change. This shift. It wasn't guaranteed that it would change halfway through this coming period of that 42 months power to act since the 70th year of Israel becoming a nation again. And then, so right around, whatever day that is, Steve Fletcher says it's the 15th of May. Other people say it's the 14th. So if you go 14th evening into 15th morning, that would bring you to, the 70th year anniversary since the Israel nation became a nation in 2018. So I talked to Derek on the phone on the 26th. And so from the time that the power to act, the 70th year anniversary, it took 1,260 days for that to be confirmed. And it also took, from the time that I started this whole thing, that I have no idea what I'm doing, stepping into other people's planet, it took 1,669 days. It took 54 months and 25 days. It took 144 million seconds and 201,600. It took 40,000 hours later in order to get a confirmation response that we're listening. We're listening to what you're saying. So what do you want? Well, what do I want? What do you want? What does everybody want from me? I know what they want. I know what they want. I know what they want. So I guess I can answer my own question. I know what they want, but what do I want? Like, what do you want from me? What do I want from you? I obviously want peace. Who doesn't? But why do you deserve peace? What just because you can tell us what we're doing? So what? So what if you can tell us what we're doing? What does it matter if you can show the landscape in Philadelphia that describes the entire Bible inside and out, with Israel and Judah and just a small 1.9 miles demonstration of everything, but all nations will flow unto it. And because the Bible's being played out literally here in Philadelphia, the landscape fits perfectly with the twin system, even with these three here, the one being on the Y, like Christ being crucified between the two thieves. These three rivers going in this direction. Just the whole thing in Philadelphia is taking place. And I'm telling you that Jonathan Kleck lives here. But I'm also telling you that another one lives here. And then doesn't somebody else live here too? That would mean that there's three of them. 3 Johnny Klecks. Is it really 3? And they happen to be on YouTube. How did I come across you? Well, John from Denver gave me an email to take a look into him. I've seen him. I've seen Jonathan Kleck before, but I didn't. I wasn't that interested. So then I get hooked, and I know that I made your life difficult, Kleck. All 3 of you. How am I supposed to know there's 3 of you, if that's even true? I disrupt I disrupted a lot of your plans that were easy, because when you start showing things that you're actually saying, yeah, it's going to get your attention. Is this even like, is that the whore, or is that the beat? She's riding the beast system. It looks like her hand up, like riding this serpent into town. There you go. See the arm up and the head, like, yeah, riding it into town. There's a reason why this is in the way too. Why would that? If that goes away, I would see more. So I've been saying that they're talking about me. Is what they're doing. They're pointing to me when they're talking about things, because I'm used to this. People are doing that all the time, and so I kept trying to prove that and prove that and prove that. Like, I don't have to prove that and prove that anymore. It's a different direction. All I'm doing is showing. If you really want to know what I'm doing here, let me think about it. Why am I here? Nobody told me to go here, so it's just something that just happens naturally, and I'm here doing whatever I'm doing, having people want to communicate with me that are in high positions. So that means that I'm on to something. This can't be nothing. I know it has, like, what the whole thing represents, and depending on your belief of it. So when you finally just admit it, like, all right, fine, Robin, you know what? Look, you're somebody from the outside. Not everything you're saying is right, because you're hot or cold, you're hit or miss. Some things you're saying are right, some things are dead on, some aren't. You don't have to be specific as to what is, and I don't need to actually hear it, because I'll discern it. I need to discern it on my own, but I discern it through people, because you can speak in a way where that's appropriate, because if you can't understand it, you're not going to get it. But if you do understand it, well, you're getting the language. I didn't mean to start speaking like a dragon. The dragon is the language. When you can see things spiritually, you're seeing what the dragon's doing. And then eventually, you're going to get to the dragon. Because, yeah, there's going to be a representation on Earth. Here's a dragon representing the dragon. But there's also someone in charge that is the dragon. And then you have the dragon. You have the beast rising, the serpent coming up out of the sea. And I guess it's a dragon the other way. I don't... If I can't see it, I can't see it. Maybe I'll see something other than that, but it doesn't help with this thing in a way either. Maybe if that would go away. And apparently this is a secret that, well, I'm not from the inside, so it doesn't count. Like, I can say whatever I want, because I didn't swear to secrecy, and I'm not hiding anything. What I do in my private life isn't private, and I get harassed by people that, well, you can say I'm harassing you. You can say you've had a tough time. You can say that a lot of employees came against me, and it's true. Because all of yous watching have that job. Either you've had it, you still have it, and because we're not at the end yet. I'm just going to deal with, like, the giants of the YouTube platform, and they're going to play the same role that you guys played in the beginning. Why wouldn't you? You know it's all a script anyway. It's not like you actually believe that that's who I am. You want me to believe that, even though the spirit is what got me here. I didn't know any of yous before here, and God has always been to me a spirit in heaven. No man is going to convince me that he's God. And I'm not going to try to convince somebody that I am either. Whoever you say I am is who you say I am in your own spirit. I don't need to stick up for myself, defend myself, or even answer. Because what I'm doing here is for everybody's benefit that doesn't get it. Anybody that's still holding on to anger, and your enemy is you. But because you're being told in your own head, you have a promise, you have people in front of you, you have promises that are going to happen. You're going to inherit the land. You guys are going to get all, people who are here over in the land of Judah is how this whole system looks like it's set up. And then Israel is over on this side. And that's because the flag is right there. And it's just part of everything lining together on this side where the sun rises. There's life, there's love, there's water sprouting up. All nations, as you can see, flow down to Philadelphia. It's all representing that in the Bible too. Because all nations do come down here. Don't you all have a place down here? Like whatever flag that is this your building? And then you go up here. Like Uruguay. Is that your building there? Is that where you guys stay, and then the next? Because that would be pretty cool that you can do that. And then whatever that flag is, you guys come here, that's your building. All the way down. There's always a place to stay when you get down here. And then the Jordan is all the way down the other end. You pass the Garden of Eden. You have this twin system, and the whole entire landscape is SpongeBob SquarePants, every character. And you take it down here to just, obviously that's a penis and it's a parking lot. So when you see that, it's wow, what? And everything else just has quite a design to it. You start looking some more. Then you see wait a minute, that looks like Jonathan Kleck, what? And it's someone you're following. And yeah, Kleck he said my name before back in February 2020. I never talked to him on the phone or anything. And what do you even say to people when you do talk? Because, this is all secretive still. Things are secret. You can't say stuff because the Bible's still being played out. And you can't give away the secrets if you already know and you're part of it. So you talk in a way where it doesn't matter what you're saying. You're saying what you need to say, and the other one is going to understand it. When we play this thing out again in the end, the first time, and this is the thing, there's a literal and a spiritual. The spiritual took place. The literal comes next. But what is literally going to happen? I'm telling you, it looks like this character here is going to spray from the art museum down to Love Park. And whoever's in the way there. But why would they do that? They don't like you? Like why are you the enemies anyway? What's the point? You all run everything. Like you own the planet. You can do whatever you want. You can drive whatever car you want. You can live in whatever house you want. You don't have to actually work. You can do whatever you want. But why do you want to fight with each other? Because we believe this and they believe that. So you believe in getting inverted and that's the kingdom of heaven. But if you go down, does that get you to the kingdom of heaven? If you do without, does that get you to the kingdom of heaven? No, it doesn't. Can you see the kingdom of heaven if you get inverted? Well, yeah, but that's only if you pluck your right eye out and chop off your arm. If your arm offends it, cut it off. No, you don't. You just cut it off. Like knock it out. Cut it out. You ever hear that? Cut it out. Your dad wasn't yelling at you, telling you to cut it out. To like cut it out. No, he was saying, cut the shit with this literal interpretation. People literally took it, and he literally did it. I'm not acting like that didn't happen. And I'm not acting like people don't believe it's going to continue to happen. Because it hasn't stopped, has it? Who's to say it's going to stop? Me? Yeah, right, Rob. They're going to listen to you. I mean, well, maybe. But yeah, of course, Derek. You know I'm going to use it. Again. Now, if you are someone that took for 2 decades, that means for 20 years, you have a way of taking people who are millionaires and saying, hey, you want to become a billionaire? This is all you got to do. What's that? Well, whatever can make you invest your money, I would assume, into something that can turn out to be a billionaire. That's great if you were into that. And then being able to produce movies in Hollywood at the same time, then that means you're listening to me. So you're listening to me say what I'm saying about what is it that I even know? What do I even know? I don't really have any kind of evidence, proof as to what I'm saying that I know. But it continually takes place that people are listening to what I'm saying. All right, so let's just continue on. People are fighting in this area because of their beliefs in what to do with the tree of life. Is this not the argument? Well, you invert the tree of life so you can have the kingdom within, so you can see the kingdom of heaven. If you literally want to see it. But you got to pluck your eye out first in order to do it. Like, you got to go through a lot of things in order to get to heaven. But is that the literal heaven? Is this the requirement to get up there? What did Kobe Bryant do before he signed his deal to go to heaven? What did he do? Well, he got into an accident with an airplane, a helicopter. That's the story. If that's what you're willing to do to get up there, then that's what you're willing to do to get up there. I'm sure it's beautiful up there, looking down at planet Earth, a literal heaven. I'm sure it's amazing. But I wasn't actually born up there. I was born down here in the pit. And some will want you to think that, no, the pit is underneath. You're literally going to get thrown into the pit. Maybe for some that's true. But we're in the pit. And heaven is up here. Heaven is above. And they designed this entire planet in order to shape it the way that they wanted to. However they did it with lasers, from all the way up here, where this whole entire, just picture this as this square is like the whole glass sprinkler weather system. Anyway, you can be offered the world. Look at the characters. Looks like this one's sleeping with the eye. Now, well, that's just the clouds anyway. It can be whatever. Isn't it the actual land? But some are offered. It's like you go to that high mountain and you say, hell yeah. You don't actually own the world yourself, but you have access to everything just like everybody else. So basically, you own it. And that's what it means for Jesus to say, all right, yeah, I'll do it. But you have to worship Satan. Just got to bow down. That's all you got to do is just bow down to him. How do you bow down to him? Well, if it was something that involves going against your belief system, then that's why you wouldn't do it. But if your belief system is you actually have to do that to get there, what I'm saying is, yeah, that's true in this system, but if you want to get to heaven, you don't have to do anything with your tree of life. You just leave it alone. You don't. It's not like thou shalt not touch or you're gonna die. No, that's Satan putting that in your head. You're born with what you're born with. Just don't be a pervert. Just don't overdo things. Just try that. Yeah, take your own advice, Robin. But see, I learn as I go, and I'm more aware of things in my surroundings. And I've actually tested a few things to see that I get an instant response as to, yeah, okay, yep, yeah, you seen that, didn't you? Man, how embarrassing is man, Robin, when you see that, you're going to be embarrassed. And we're going to show it. Yep. But what I do is what I do. And what you do, well, if you do this in secret, okay, it's done. It's over and done with. But are you acting like you're not, and you're still judging other people? Like, thou shalt not touch. Thou shalt not touch, you're going to die. But you're having an enjoyment that I think it is like a timer or something goes off. And it's the male-female system. That's why you're a virgin, because it's like you're born again too. You're a new creation in Christ. Christ within you. Yes, that would be the spark of life inside of you. That would be what Christ is. Christ is light. Christ is that spark. When it's a dead sheep program, that spark never turns to life anymore. Unless it turns like bugs or something. I don't know. But either way, it's a dead sheep system. Because that's the sheep. When you hear that saying, I'm going to eat your children, I don't think he really meant actual children. But what are children? They're the sparks of life before it goes into the womb of a mother. But if this has created this womb, just like a mother's womb, and you're a man, and then you have this and you invert it that way, and then there's the system that you impregnate yourself and you have a baby, and every 9 months you continually have babies and you reproduce from your own kind, as the reptilian race does. A reptilian actually does that. So how would I know that? Because Jonathan Kleck talks about it all the time. How can I not know that? How can I not know what he's talking about? It almost seems
3, when Jesus
not even like fair sometimes, where I feel like I'm cheating or something. It's getting easier. But I'm also discerning both sides. Look, I'm gonna battle with my other side, because I still need to discern what's what. And just because I have another side of me, an enemy, well, sometimes an enemy is necessary to speak up about something, because Robin is the passive one. Henry is, you call me your enemy? You think I'm evil. What? So that means you're good? Nah, Robin, you're not good at all. And I'm not even evil. But it's like the necessary other you, the other side of you is who you need, but you need to be reconciled with yourself. So you're not warring with your other side, because you need your other side. You can't just get out of here, Satan. Leave me alone forever, for the rest of my life. No, you don't do that. you reconcile yourself back to yourself. That way you and your other spirit can get along. Here's how you get along. When you know his tricks in your head, you know what he's going to do beforehand, you tell him, it kind of murders their plan, doesn't it? It just demolishes it completely because you're telling your other side what it's thinking before it does it. And it's a way of diffusing the situation. So with people still fighting with themselves, oh, look at that, 666. Wow, I like this. People are jockeying for position. What is the position that they're looking for? Kingdomship. Somebody's playing Jesus, and then somebody's going to take the punishment and play it, and somebody else is going to act it out, and they're not really getting punished, but they're getting punished by the only reason you're mad, if you're still mad, is because the punishment that you get from playing that role out is revealed that that's not who you are. For real, that's not who you are. But in the system, that's who you are. So it's not like this is a lie. This is what this is. You can't go to Hollywood like, no, that's not true. You're lying. That's not true. You didn't really shoot him. It's an act. These are acting. We're all acting. I'm stepping into my role, acting it out. Yeah, but people don't like what you're saying, and they're not happy with you, and they would rather they'd rather take your life. They would rather take your life. So I can say, well, I can't do anything now because I already got the attention of people that write movies in Hollywood. Yeah, but if they want to take your life, if anybody wants to take your life from you, because are you giving it to them? Are you laying your life down for them? Like, here, take this. No, I insist. Here, please, take my life. Take my life. Let's switch. You want to take my life? I'll take your life. Let me see what it's like to go wherever I want to go, just drive whatever car I want to drive. Yeah, that's nice. It would definitely be nice. Let me just live in a house it's just there, it's nice, it's new. Let me just retire. Let me have the feeling of feeling like what it's like to not have to work as somebody that has to work your entire life. Let me experience that. Let me take that part of your life. Whatever else you do in your life, that's what you do. When you're done doing whatever it is that I don't do and you want to hang out, hey, come on over to this church. I don't care who you are. I don't care what goes on inside of your host body. I don't care if you bust on me for just having an average size as a male and you guys are, sewing on animal skin and AI mixed whatever, or even naturally just cares. That's not what heaven is. Heaven is the spirit inside. So what you are all doing, you're not actually going to get to heavenly realm inside your spirit. But yeah, you may get to actual heaven. But I'm not looking to move there either. I'm looking for heaven to come down here to earth where I live, and it's just like straighten the stuff out that's here and free some things up and start to, because you're not warring with yourself anymore and the act is just about up. When that's done, let's just move on and start sharing stuff. Like, I'll give you my life. You can experience the same feelings that I feel when I'm able to cast out thoughts that used to torment you about stuff, because it's your enemy inside. It's you warring with yourself, and you have self-preservation for what you think is going to come your way. I expect zero, nothing. I just expect the worst to continue until it's over. I expect everybody to mock me, play the same role that they played 3.5 years ago, and pick somebody else that you're not going to pick me anyway because you know it's all a script and you don't even believe in Jesus anyway. So, but the Jesus you do believe in is the one that runs the planet. So why wouldn't you pick him? I just want you to know that I know. I don't want anybody going into this thinking that I don't know your plan. I just don't want you to think that way. I want you to know that I know your plan. Why do you think I start stalking the stalkers? What? I can stalk you. It's legal. You can't prove what I'm doing to anybody. I can say what I'm doing now, but you can't prove what I'm doing when I'm doing it because they do it to you too, and you can't prove it one way or another. But man, does it feel good just to let them know that I know, and they know that I know. And I know that they know that I know. It's just a way of knowing. What that does is it relieves that last bit of irritation of Satan that, yeah, but Robin, they're getting away with it. No, well, they're not. They're not getting away with it. One person at a time. That's all I've been doing. You're not getting away with it. Oh, you want to take my life because of that? Why? Because I don't let you get away with it? For those that I didn't let get away with it, how do you feel now after you know, oh, nobody actually dies? Duh. Nobody actually gets hurt. This is all a script. We can start speaking the truth. And you know that you're not going to die. You're just going to get gang stalked and hurt. So what? You gang stalked me. This is how it's going to be for you. What are you scared? You scared to speak the truth? This is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. Everybody's telling you it's time. It's time. Now's the time. Everybody. I heard Skip say it a few times. I heard Kim say it. Fleck say it. Derek say it. Like it's time to come clean with what yous are doing, but everybody's going to take it to the very bitter end. You know why? Because you were promised by whoever Jesus of Nazareth is, whether he came from heaven or he's on earth, whether it's the first 3.5 years or it's the beginning for somebody else, or it's the 7-year period for somebody else. It's time now. But I understand. It's a script. Haunted Hayride, the horror, America Horror Story. It's all coming to our eyes, wherever you are, in front of you. So get prepared for it. I've been warning people about this for a long time now. But I'll tell you what, the coincidences of this turning into that 1260 days later becomes more sobering. That's what that does. After 1260 days, it's more sobering and it's greatly appreciated. And from here on out, that means we're getting closer towards the end of this thing that I happen to step into, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Now, I'm not looking for anything besides what I said. Put your hands up and drop your weapons. All the mothers out there, put your hands up and drop your weapons. Let's live in a peaceful nation. And that's what Scripture is, right? Isn't that where we're at? Well, for some, no. For some, we're halfway there. And that Antichrist is just starting. I didn't even experience what it's like to even come across an Antichrist my entire YouTube career. I have no idea what it feels like for people to come against you. But why were they coming against me? A lot of times they had the right to. A lot of times you guys had the right because my attitude and, just being immature. How am I supposed to know you're going to play that role with me twice. How am I supposed to know that until I actually start knowing it? Nobody's allowed to tell you. You got to figure it out yourself. And if people communicate in a way that you can understand them, then you'll start speaking like a dragon. But they're going to come after you because of that. Well, why? Why? Are you still warring with yourself? Don't you know that's that thing of lack of self-control? Well, you may have a job and that's your job to do it and you have no problem doing it. Because some say it's evil, some say it's good. Is it good or is it evil what's happening? Don't worry about it. What are you? What are you while it's happening? What are you? Is evil gonna be created because of it? Because of what's happening, good or evil? And you got to control yourself. This is a test for everybody, especially the ones from the inside that are part of it. This time around, who you pick is picking somebody else. Whoever you pick is going to pick somebody else. And that's that system where it's the 3.5 day period. There's a covenant that's going to be made for 7 years. And if you take a day as a year, halfway in that week, it is 3.5 days. We're still going to find out what happens coming up. Whether it's the 14th or the 15th, 42 months, whether it's the 14th or the 15th. That's coming up, this 3.5 year period. I get a contact on the 1,260th day. That's quite a day for me, considering when Derek was doing that video back then.
When I was a kid and lived up in northern British Columbia, yeah, I was scared. Was I fearful of them? No, because there's...
So back on August 8th, I heard what I perceived it as when you had 1,260 people on there, and then you were talking about that's going to be quite a day for you. I'm thinking, for me, that would be quite a day, but what would have to happen on that day? I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe some kind of recognition. I've been seeing the second 9/11 happening in Philly, and that could have been it. Or it's a day where you go to jail. You know, that would be the same day, actually. That could be it. But that's not, I mean, you're going to jail. Yeah, I know, but it's because I seen something happen before it happened. It doesn't mean I'm going to stay in jail. It doesn't work that way. You don't stay in jail if you can see their plan ahead of time. They're mainly going to want you to be on their team because what you're seeing is their plan and nobody told you. So to communicate with Derek on that day, yeah, I would say it's quite a day. It's quite a day because even my wife has endured with me with this YouTube thing, and at times say I'm wasting my time. You're wasting your time, And I try to show sometimes, no, they're talking to me. Honey, you don't get it. These people are on the planet. I'm not wasting my time. But why am I doing it for free? Because it's the damn world script. Why wouldn't you? You're part of it. You're showing things that are part of it. And you're communicating with people that, they at least know things that are going on, have ideas, better ideas. I want to have a better idea of who I'm dealing with. So when I heard that, I'm thinking, yeah, I think you're talking to me. But I could just be overly thinking things, but that would be a good day. I remember with Kleck when he was his 1,260th day, I was basing it off of Derek when he started. And then on that 1,260th day since Derek Bros started back in December 31st, 2017, Jonathan Kleck's channel went down on June 14th of 2021. And that was 1,260 days too. But his channel went off, and then I still followed him into the other dimension, basically, because it's somebody else's channel. I could have just left him for dead on my channel and leave it alone. But no, because you know why? Because I kept seeing more of what he's talking about. If I wasn't seeing more and more of what he's talking about, understanding it, then I wouldn't be able to show you this. And those that are involved, you know that this is all true. You already know what this is. You already know it all. Well, I don't know if all of you do, but the ones that run it, you know it's true. You know what you're trying to show me. You know what I'm seeing. And I'm doing this for God. The Spirit in heaven, the one that sent me into this platform, I'm doing it for that spirit, that desire, and it's going to continue until I'm done. So if people want my life, you can have my life, but I want your life too. Because when you can be a part of the script and you have access to everything, I want the same thing. But that's only if you feel like doing that for me. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Then I'll just keep working until I'll try to just live cheap and stay healthy as long as I can for the rest of my life. That's it. But if people appreciate what I do and they have the means and the ability, then they're gonna share. And I'm gonna share, and life just gets better. It feels better when you release prisoners too. Because you start thinking like, man, why did I always feel like locking people up and being mean to them and punching people and laying hands on people? Well, click, if it was up to him, which it ain't, you know, the one that wants to, then the other one's gonna come, oh yeah, Robin, boom. I'm just expecting whatever I am supposed to expect. But fear, it's not something that's gonna settle in and just linger around. But I know that the tactics are there to make it as fearful as possible. Why wouldn't it be? But always keep in mind, but I figured this stuff out. All this stuff and the things, what's going on, I have a very good idea, and I'm giving credit to God in heaven, the Spirit, the Father, in a spiritual realm, not up, over, down, just everywhere. And what that energy is telling me is to relay the message that I'm getting to those that are in charge of all of it and everybody involved. Whatever I've exposed by doing this, not learning from anybody, just doing it, not knowing anybody, just hopping on and figuring it out, that energy, you can take that life. You can never take that life. You can't. But if you want it, you can take it. All this literal interpretation of the Bible, all I'm giving you is another way of looking at it and then proving that that's the way that it is. And then let's just move on. But who you pick this time around is different. Has a wounded head and did live. And because we're at that point in the Bible, who are you, Robin? You don't even know. You learned 2 years before you hopped on YouTube. You just started reading the Bible then. You're going to tell me you know that we're at the end of that part there, and you've only been on YouTube for 4.5 years. So basically, you don't even have 7 years of knowledge of the Bible, and you're going to tell us that we're at the end. Right. Well, we are. And it's going to happen that way. And when the next person in charge, who's considered the Antichrist because he's in place of, it doesn't mean he's the enemy of Christ. It means he's the anti, in place of, anti, against. It being the exact, like the devil's advocate. That's how it was supposed to be. You're supposed to be that way. That way, when you meet with the Spirit, then you'll understand, oh, that's the Spirit of revelation, revealing secrets, revealing feelings, revealing thoughts in your mind, revealing them. When that can be done, that wounds the head of you, because it's, you know what the click does, it blows your mind thing. It wounds your head, but you do live because you now take that life. You're now taking the life of Christ. You're taking it. You're taking that spirit in of Christ, that Christ spirit, and that spirit that you take in heals the wounded head. And only if that was true, I'm going to be right about Father told me so. I'm just telling you, Father, the God in heaven. He gives me the heads up of things that are going to take place before they do. And then it proves that they do. They do take place. It was premature, probably back in May or something. I did a yard stream, and the title was Soon Special Guest Derek Burrows on my channel. And yeah, it could be funny, like, yeah, great, Robin. Well, not that I'm asking him to be on my channel or me on his. What I'm saying is to literally communicate and talk on a telephone. When I gave my number, but when you text me and say who it is, then all right, well, I need to make sure that is who you are. So it's not even like I got back to him. I needed him to verify it through the TikTok account to comment on my channel, and then he did that. And then I needed to hear your actual voice because I've been trolled so damn much, and Derek knows that, don't you? So I need to verify it, and then it becomes a verification. So what I said beforehand was I would be talking to Derek Bros, and I don't even know, like, I've never known anybody beforehand. I feel like I know people better now, but that was like a prophecy that I created out of my own delusional mind. Oh yeah, I'm just talking into the wind, wasting my time talking. You're not even saying anything, Robin. Gauge that somewhere. And then with those that are part of this, you're already saying, yeah, we know. We already know that. It's part of it. All right, well, you already knew that. I didn't know that, but I believed it. I believed wholeheartedly I'd be talking to Derek Bros before my YouTube channel's over. And it happened. It just happened. So take it for what it is. I just keep plugging away. Whatever I say. It's push record. I don't even listen to it half the time. Whatever I'm saying now, I know I'm rambling on. It's an hour and a half almost. But it's important to me to let you know how I feel about talking to someone that has written Hollywood movies and has been around all the famous people, but he's the most famous of them all. So all the famous people, but he's the most famous of them all? Is that true? Is Derek Bros the most famous of all behind the scenes? Because, I mean, I would say that you'd probably be a favorite if you can do this for decades upon decades, and you can turn people into billionaires. And you called me? All right, I mean, I'm extremely honored, but I also know this is there's a lot of people behind the seat parts. Like, I can't wait to pretend to try to. Jesus, it's you, Father. I'm your son. I mean, no. How's it go? Let me tell you what I think is going to take place. Jesus, it's you. I'm your Father. I'm God in heaven. It's me, your Father. Just bow down to me. Worship me as your Father, son. Now, my Father. First of all, my Father, my actual physical Father, is in heaven. But my Father in heaven is in heaven. The only father I knew on earth was my dad, my pop, William. And he was the only one that would talk with me with the Bible. And he wouldn't argue with me because of my beliefs. So I always felt comfortable talking to my dad about the Bible. I'll turn on. Because he had the ability to speak, without pissing you off. So I learned that from him. And I learned to try to master that way of communicating with people. But not everybody's gonna hear or like me. But I'm not trying to force you to like me either. I don't care. You do or you don't. I can see why you would be people's favorites in Hollywood to come to. Like, hey, you want to make billions of dollars? Derek Bros can do it for you. Well, that's cool. It's good. It's good to know. It's good to have that, like, someone on your phone contact from, like, just being a nobody coming up. Not that I'm looking to be a movie star or anything, or to take billions and millions and gazillions of dollars, because I'm just here to turn down everything. I'm meant to do that. I see what you can do. I can see the offer. I know exactly what can happen. If I decide to do a host body, I already know the ins and outs. No, thank you. You can, if that's what you do, if that's what you did, if that's what you've done, if that's what you do in private, that's what you do in private. When you're done, you want to hang out after you're done doing your business, taking care of whatever you got to do. Just, there's no need to do it around me. There's no need to, shoot me with. There's no need to do that. Skip, relax with the ants. It's not a big deal. They don't even do it. They don't even. What do they bite? You can't be afraid of ants. You just stomp on them, spray them. You don't need to do that. Especially if I can tell you that that's what you're going to do. Why would you do something that I know you're going to do? I'm telling you not to do it because God, the Father in heaven, told me so. He told me to the Lord told me. Oh, you mean Jonathan Kleck told you? Landlord, whatever title Jonathan Kleck is what he is. And in the end, everybody's title will be revealed as to who they actually are or aren't. I never came in with a preconceived idea that I have a title or I'm entitled to anything. I just know that I'm going to get what needs to be gotten. And it's going to happen because I'm not going to stop, and whatever takes place, I'm coming back the second time around. I've already dealt with this before. I'm way more aware of it now, and being offended isn't something that you can easily do to me. But again, I'm not from the inside. I don't know what's going to take place. I just know we're getting closer and closer and closer to the end. In the end, God in heaven wins. The person that is considered God on earth, in heaven, the one that you believe is God in heaven is going to get the power from you, because you're going to pick that person. But that same person is doing the same thing that God in heaven will do in order to make it manifest as a human being in charge of earth, because he lives up in heaven. Literal manifestation will take place. But you don't know that person's heart the way that you thought you did before I came onto this scene and exposed what needed to get exposed. That's my faith that I never have any evidence of, but it continually keeps happening, and it just happens. This is what's natural. I know I keep people busy. Many people busy. I think I made you guys rich as hell, damn it. I'm pretty sure I did. I made a ton of people money. I don't know how, but I guess because you work a lot of extra hours. But why would you be watching my channel so much when what I'm saying is nothing, and I've been told that all the time? Well, because that's their job to do that. Do you fault them for it? Do you call it evil because it's their job? Some jobs are evil. You know what evil is. Some jobs are good. But being forced against your will isn't good in any job, no matter what. If you can't tell the truth at any job, what's the point? If you got to lie in your job and you don't want to lie anymore, then start telling the truth. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose your job. Big deal. Money's collapsing anyway, so it's going to change over. We're all going to lose our jobs. This is a reset. You think money's going to continue on? Why do you think Christ turned everything down? Derek did the same thing. He did the same thing back in certain employee at a movie studio. You just voluntarily resigned during the worst economic conditions since the Great Depression. Why? Because I was prepared to take on a very different life to help average people survive the tough times that I knew were ahead. The world had become a very different place for me. I'm going in the same direction as you, Derek. Did they kill you? Or are you still alive? I mean, unless I'm talking to an AI computer screen and they killed you, but it's just an AI robot, then I guess you're still alive. I had the same desire. I never knew you from Adam in the beginning. There's an amazing Amazon book coming soon to Barnes & Noble. Wouldn't that be something if I was part of that book being written right now? Part of that movie being written right now? Part of that Truman Show, like Christophilus is up in the moon. There's going to be a time where the moon doesn't give its light and the sun will be darkened. If the sun is darkened and the moon does give its light, both those two, are they going somewhere? Are they going to disappear? Like, what does that mean? So, and then you were now the senior vice president of the digital division of Paramount Pictures in Hollywood, California. Created with just, so you lived that life too, which must have been pretty damn cool. I'm sure it still is. Just to be able to make a movie. I don't know. Yeah, I want to be a part of it someday. But I'm not doing anything that would go against God the Father's will. This is His will, and I accept His will because for me it's the right direction to go. Just keep doing what I'm doing. I got here this way, just like this. So I'm going to continue on just like this with whatever it is, wherever I'm going or not going. Whatever this thing is, wherever it takes me, if I feel in a forced direction, then the only way I'm going somewhere is if I'm forced against my will. And then, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why would you be forsaken by God? All this way, I'm telling you how I got here. But I'm also telling you that this is a script being played out. And I've read the Bible too. I know how things take place. Not that I understand everything because I haven't read the entire Bible. I can't remember everything. But when something is written out ahead of time, it's going to be played out by those that run this thing. And people that run it would be people that have the ability to create movies. That's one way of being able to create it and make things happen according to your will. That would be the divine serpent. I know it's not hard. I know it's not easy to believe, but the serpent's head has been wounded. That Leviathan serpent has been wounded and did live. It's the breath of life that enters into the person. We've been waiting for this our entire lives. Everybody that's alive right now. As the theory goes, or the rumor, thousands and thousands of years that the Bible is written, and it's going to happen now. How do we not know it was written about 150 years ago? Because who was actually alive 150 years ago? Or even 200 years ago? Who's to say? The ones that run this planet are the ones that are able to say that and act it out. And I feel like right here, it's being acted out in Philadelphia. And I just happen to live here. I've lived here most of my life. Philadelphia area. And when I'm showing, I used to think like I'm telling on people because I'm showing you, but then you'll keep showing me that you want me to know. You want me to expose what this is, to show it. But you can't prove that. But I do a pretty good job of overwhelming everybody with so much circumstantial evidence, and then to actually nail things on the head with what they are. And I don't truly know, but you do know, and it's right. It's a way of me putting your guard down, putting down your weapons, because I don't have any. You don't need to put your wall up with me. You don't need to put your guns out. You don't need to be all huffy and puffy and tough. You don't need to be, because I don't have any weapons except for this. It's just words. Like, you don't need to get offended. Blessed are those who are not offended. Because it is a blessing when you don't get offended. Trust me, I've gotten offended plenty of times. I know exactly what Christ meant. Blessed are those who are not offended, because it ruins you just get disgusted with being offended at people and what they do and what they're saying. It's like so sickeningly evil. Well, you know what? Let people be what they are, Robin. What are you going to do? Just keep talking. Keep slicing and dicing with the sword that you got. And then, see where it takes you. See where it gets you. This is where it gets me. To be able to participate in the end of the world, Bible, apocalyptic, zombie, horror film. Being surveilled, gang stalked every day. I mean, whatever you call it, that people just doing stuff. just to be there because you know they're there. Well, yeah, they're going to be very good servants of mine. I look, they're already serving Satan. So when everybody picks Satan, and then Satan is like, you know what, Robin, I appreciate the work you've been doing, buddy. Here, take it. I'm not signing anything. I know. I don't need to sign anything. You don't need to bow down to me. I'm gonna bow down to you. Oh, blasphemy! Remember, this is just a script, and it's for pure entertainment purposes. But things are true. They're true. It ain't to me. It's to the Spirit. The Spirit that you now have, that runs through your veins, runs through your blood. If you want to give that blood to somebody else, if you want to give your life to somebody else too, it's because you now have that life and you didn't have it before. And when people get that life and they're in highest positions on this planet, they start to feel like sharing. I know the direction that it goes. But we have to finish the script all the way through. Please touch museum, and then do not touch. So you got the please touch. Man, what a slap in the face that is. The please touch museum and the thou shall not touch museum over here. Right? You're not allowed to touch anything over here? I bet you that's what it is too. I didn't even think of that. When you go into this art museum, are you allowed to touch anything? Probably not. I don't know, I tried going in, they wanted a mask. I'm not arguing with them. Like right now, it's 10 o'clock. I got like an hour left. I might do something with I might do another video. Or just finish it up. But basically, I just wanted to thank Derek for calling me and talking to me. Because it's the same as me listening to your video. You're in my ear anyway. And the only thing I'm doing is either asking a question or interrupting you. I felt about, like maybe 85% comfortable, 15% just something new. Like because I shut all the contacts down. Many different people, I had to do that. And it always seemed like they get offended, and maybe in the beginning, and then afterwards it's whatever. But like I said, if you're one of God's children, you'll understand why. You'll understand why. And it's because I've been through it, and I need to focus on what I need to do. And then when it's all over and done with, well, maybe people are thinking, no, right? I was only keeping in contact with you because when it's over and done with, you're done. And we're not going to see you ever again. And that's the mindset of some. Others, they just want to communicate. And I understand why, because it's the same thing with Derek. I just want to communicate. I'm not looking to be deceptive in any way, shape, or form. I'm looking to discern what I'm hearing. Because I know what I'm hearing is something I need to pay attention to. But I also know there's directions of things that go, and it's up to you, your decision. It's free will. Influence. The right influence, the wrong influence, it's your decision as to what you want to be influenced by. I'm not looking for any deals. I'm looking to turn down deals. Because it ain't time this isn't the time to take deals with anything. This isn't the time. And for those that are getting ready to rejoice over the destruction of whoever, whatever, remember that rejoicing is that party that the Bible talks about. And then a times and a half is only 3.5 days after the fact. Those two witnesses that that are dead in the street, after 3.5 years, they're raised up. After 3.5 days, there's a 7-day period. There's a 7-year period. There's a halfway in between the 7-day actual period, and there's halfway in between 7-year period on the same day. That day happens to be November 14th into the 15th, 2021. That's 42 months. Exactly. From the time to act. But it's also 3.5 days after 11/11, where 11/11 always represents a peace arrangement coming up. And, we'll just see where we're at, because apparently I'm pretty sure for me, I got the 1,260 days correct just by it being a really good day for me, and also to just like let my wife know too. I haven't been wasting any time here. This is just getting more revealed towards the end, because it's supposed to. And whoever knows, whoever knew that was going to happen, who knows? But I want people to know you're gonna play your role. You're gonna believe what you want. All I can do is tell you that when it's over and done with, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It's your decision. If you still have anger towards me, and it's something that I didn't do, it's just you battling with yourself, you're going to have to deal with that in the end. If you have mercy, you'll have mercy. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It's not literal, but it can be. Because it's what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. What you do, you're going to have it done in return. What's the punishment? Well, the fact that who you're picking has a healed, wounded head. In the Bible, that's where we are. That's where we are. So when that happens, you'll know exactly that's where we are. And it was a heads up. Just a heads up. And I don't blame you for picking somebody that you know is there and has the ability to give you the ability to do whatever it is. Pick yourself. Don't pick a side. Stay neutral. Pick God, the Spirit in heaven, where it leads you. If you can discern it, listen to that. I need to stay neutral with where I'm at, because the time isn't at the end. Yeah, we have an inheritance in the Bible, it says it. But you may think you're part of this group when you're really part of that group. Or you may think that you're going to get this because the ones that are in charge of you told you what you're going to get. But there's a shift change. Whether that person gets taken out of that seat or that person gets left behind or that person gets taken into captivity and that person is taken, but they're still there sitting in that seat. They just have been taken captive. and their heart changed from a stone to flesh, from stones to the bread of life, changing those stones into bread. You would have to be able to read hearts in order to know that. So when everybody picks whoever they pick, because of it being in a comfort zone and because there's promises made, and you know that this is a literal person in front of you. I'm saying rely on God, and God is a spirit. And I'm saying I don't have any evidence of anything, but things keep happening. And I'm telling you that at one point, I knew I was going to be talking to Derek, and it is a big deal. And it happened on our from the 70th year of nation of Israel becoming a nation again. It was 1,260 days later. What does that mean? Do the math. There's 30 more days coming up. There's a blessing to wait to the 1,335th day. But there's also an act playing out like, yeah, Robin, you're it. Oh man, we're gonna do this again. This time it's the Giants. This time I got Kim, I got Skip over, I got the Clicks. I get the Giants playing this role. Let's play the role. Every moment of the day, I think also, and I just think, wow, this is this whole world, this is the entire planet. This entire planet. I'm down here. I'm in this area. At work a lot. I'm in that area and around here. I'm part of this. I'm part of it. I'm part of this on the boots on the ground. I'm part of it right here on the from heaven looking down. So I'm seeing where I'm walking. So I'm part of it, literally part of it from the air and the ground and the earth, from the heavens to the earth. And the Bible is being played out. Scripts are being played out. We're at the end of that part. We're halfway between. The Antichrist, the second one, is getting ready to take control. He has a wounded head already. I already know he has a wounded head. And so that person that's going to be in charge because Satan gives his power, the dragon gives his power to whoever he wants. Yeah, there's a dragon down here at a building, and there's going to be a representation, like I said, on earth. Also, there's always going to be a representation on earth, but there's also one in heaven. The dragon was cast out. What do you mean, to the earth? Like cast out into the buildings itself? Or the dragon that runs heaven has been cast out because Christ now resides also with the same spirit? Or was a dragon completely cast out of the person that's considered the dragon from heaven? You don't cast a dragon completely out of you. You tame it. You become reconciled with yourself. You're still a dragon. You may speak like a lamb. You may have two horns like a lamb, but you speak like a dragon. Or you may be a lamb and you speak like a dragon. Or you could be a false prophet, two horns like a lamb, but you're really speaking like a dragon. It's true, both of them. Both of them are true. Both of them. And both of them manifest. Both of them have manifested. It's a dead sheep. His tongue sticking out. It's everywhere. His eyeballs. Is that even a tear? Probably a tear coming down or something. So basically, that's my testimony. A testimony from the beginning to the ending of this thing that I hopped into and experienced one hell of a ride. I know it ain't over. I know it's, I'm going to experience the greatest fear because this is the end. And if I can relay a message to people that are involved with evil intent, just understand this. I didn't know any better. From the way I treated people, to everybody that I mistreated, I'm sorry. Because I didn't know any better. I allowed myself to let my own enemy speak for me because of my feelings as to what you guys were doing to me. When I don't know that these things are happening, and then I start to figure it out, and then I ask questions, and then I get lies, well, then I started to get a little irritated. And that fired me up. So I start digging for the truth. And then I start showing things that I know are definitely true, exposing false prophets. Like, that's what yous are. You know that that's your role. You can't get mad. You took the role to act as a false prophet. When I can figure it out, it should just be like, hey, Robin, good job, man. Appreciate it that you can see that. And don't keep getting mad because I'm catching you in lies. That's where you get offended. When people try to continually keep a lie, you will get offended because I'll constantly show you that you're lying. But for me just being me now, and what I've learned and what I've shown and how I've dealt with people back then, and then now knowing that all of that took place in the past was me learning how to grow up. I thank everybody that is part of it. Everybody that came at me, everybody with the most disgusting, vile, just irritating, whoever you are, whatever you've done, thank you for doing that. But now that we're coming to the end, everybody's anger needs to be put in check. Because you make bad decisions when you're angry. You feel like crap when you're angry. When you allow somebody else to bother you, it's one of the most sickening feelings that I've ever gotten. When I allow somebody else to irritate me, it's like, oh. But then when you learn how to not do it and just see things for what they are, you start to become more peaceful. People will get offended because I'm telling you that the promises are going to be broken for everybody. Everybody that has the evil deed that they're doing. Because who's in charge? Yeah, they are. And you can't tell what their heart is unless you have the ability to do that. So the way people speak, the entire time you got false prophets on YouTube, they're speaking. Oh, they sound so good. Their heart is, far from their words. The lips are speaking, but their heart is far from it. But towards the end, they speak like and they actually mean it. And they can get away with it because they're now being honest. You know they are, but you know that other people are going to believe that they're still acting, and they're not. They're not even acting anymore. They actually feel that way. So that's what I'm telling you, everybody. Those people that have been acting, if you know someone that's in a very high position, then understand that they can act that way and now feel the way that they've been acting. And you're still not feeling because that enemy is still talking, screaming to you, controlling you, telling you what to do. Yeah, you might have a boss, you might have a job, but how you do your job, you can do it better. You can do it better by listening to the second thought and not the first one that controls you all the time. So that would be my advice. Whatever you do, just do it with mercy. Because if you expect the person you're putting that through to have mercy on you in the end, when you don't think they're going to be around anymore, just know that that mercy will be there, and you'll make a very good servant in the end. No hard feelings. I understand. Everybody's deceived, and I know nothing. But when it takes place with what I'm saying will happen, then you'll know at that time. And then at that time will be the greatest feeling ever, because it's like now is the time to start to live life the way that is intended for everybody to live, because it's before the foundations of the world. You think this is God's world, creating us, putting us here in a hellhole, controlled by people that just want to piss on you like a piss ant, peeing your pants. Is that what that is? Peeing your pants or pissing on ants? Either way, it looks like a big bully move. But there's a bigger bully than that, and that bully is all the way throughout everywhere. And it's the sun. It's the galaxy. It's the universe. It's God, the God of the universe, rules and reigns everything. And Satan knows it. I'm telling you, Satan knows it. Whoever knows who Satan is, just know this. There's a wounded head and did live. The breath of life has entered, and this is a end of the ages. That's it. The Ancient of Days, you don't have to do it anymore. This is the last time. You don't have to do that anymore. Now you have the Spirit. It's never going to leave you, ever. For the rest of, you're going to continue to live forever, apparently. From whenever to forever.